Hey y'all, Jamie here, proud 55-year-old trans woman from New Orleans. So, where last I left off, me and my best friend Terry, well, one of my best friends, Terry, had gone to a restaurant called Fred's Diner on Sunset Boulevard, and it was over the weekend. And when we walked in, we were dressed like just total hookers, just total hookers. And we went over to the payphone and we heard, as we were walking by the tables, I heard somebody say, "What the fuck are those?" When I heard, "Those are transsexuals, aren't they beautiful?" I recognized the voice. And if you watched yesterday's video, you already know it was Boy George, the Boy George from Culture Club. And he was actually with Culture Club and their little entourage of friends and stuff. So I geeked out because, believe it or not, for me, I actually, I kind of credit Boy George with me coming out publicly because, it started off with me doing a costume contest when I was like in the 8th grade, I think. Yeah, I did a costume contest and I wore full makeup, and obviously I don't look a damn thing like Boy George, so you got Jamie instead. What can I tell you? Girl Jamie. So yeah, we kind of fan out, and it's kind of a hey from a distance, but I did not go up to the table or anything. And we left the restaurant that night, and I was kind of just, I was all geeked out and excited that I had met or had seen him, but hadn't really met him. So that Monday night, we get ready and we get all dolled up and we go to Peanuts. And me and Terry and Tracy, we all walk into Peanuts. And on this particular night, y'all, I was wearing there was a material in the 80s that was very popular called popcorn knit, if anybody knows what that is. It was very bodycon, and it was very, yeah. I was wearing, it was fire red, just fire red, and it had these like metal rings on your thighs that attached to leggings that went down from there, and it was like a mini skirt at the top. Just whorish, just whore down. So yeah, anyway, so we walk into Peanuts, and lo and behold, there is Boy George. Him and Culture Club are there at Peanuts. They were in town, and we didn't just get to see them at Fred's, we got to see them at Peanuts. And so all of the girls are like, everybody's crowding, Boy George, and they're like trying to get his autograph, and they're like really on him to get his autograph. And I just sat back. And so he actually noticed me, and I kind of waved and said, "Hey," and he's like, "I saw you the other night." I said, "Yeah, you did." And I introduced myself, and then he introduced himself to me, which was kind of silly because everybody knows who the fuck Boy George is. But, and I said, "It's really a pleasure to meet you." And I kind of told him about my little costume contest at school. And he was like, "Really?" He said, "Honestly," he said, "when I was 16, he told me that he was a proper transsexual and that he was well on his way to transitioning. And they told him, if you want to be in the music industry, that's not going to fly." So that was why he backed away from it and decided to, become the Boy George that we all know and love. And obviously, listen, if you look at his life, obviously he made the right choice for him, because by now, if he were trans, he would have, come out. He could have easily come out many, many times. So yeah, we are hanging out, and he tells me, he says, "Jamie, can I ask you something?" And I said, "Sure." And he said, "Well, everybody else is immediately asking for autographs and all of that." He said, "You didn't bug me for anything like that, And I said, "Listen," I said, "I could ask you for the autograph or the picture or whatever and try to make this big thing out of it and hound you." I said, "But at the end of the day, aren't you just like a person? I mean, you're really just a person, and I'd rather have the memory of hanging out with you than, the picture or the autograph." And he just was really impressed by that. And, I kind of kept some of the other girls away from him because he kind of asked me to. They didn't know that at the time, but yeah, he kind of asked me if I could get them, like, get me the hell away from them. And at one point, I just said, "Come on, let's." And I took him up to the bar in Peanuts, and I bought him a beer. I know, me buying Boy George a beer, crazy. And he was cruising this little Latino boy across the bar. I say boy, I mean he was an adult, but anyway, young. And he's cruising him, and I was like, "Oh, so you like the Latin trade, okay?" And Boy George was like, "Yeah, he's really cute, but he wouldn't want me. He's here for the dolls, you know." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? You're Boy George. Come on." I was like, "If you want that boy, trust and believe you can have that boy." I said, "If you'd like, I'll go talk to him for you. It's no problem." And he was like, "No, that's really sweet of you, but that's okay." And then so we're hanging out and we're drinking, and Culture Club is there. And the one blonde guy in Culture Club, he was allegedly the only straight member of the band, you know? And so Boy George is leaning over and he's telling me, "Jamie, it just drives me crazy because he's always giving us shit about, oh, all the gay drama and all the gay drama, and, you know, that he's just a dick about it." And he was like, "I would give anything if he would just cross that line in some kind of way." And I was like, "Well, now that you mention it, okay, I'll do that for you." So I went and I grabbed old Blondie Locks that thought he was straight, and which I guess, you know, he could still be, you know, probably. And I grabbed him and I said, "Let's go dance." And he was like, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, come on, let's go dance." And he had had a few drinks, so he was game. And I kid y'all not, within like 10 seconds on the dance floor, his tongue was down my throat. And if y'all want to know what happened next, you know the routine. Be here tomorrow, and I will too. I love you all. I love you all for watching, and I love you for the comments. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.